Namaskar. Hello and welcome to PGurus channel. I'm your host Sree Iyer. Joining me today is Shekhar 𝗤𝗧𝙤𝘅 as we talk about various things under the sun in India. But before that, please like this video, like, share, comment, and subscribe to our channel. And now let's welcome our guest of the evening, Shekhar 𝗤𝗧𝙤𝘅. Shekhar ji, Namaskar and welcome to PGurus channel.
Namaskar, Shekhar. Thank you for having me again.
Shekhar ji, a lot of things happening in J&K. First of all, sir, is the encounter over now? Because we are going to talk about the new strategy that the militants seem to be employing. I'm also hearing that the Pakistani army also is giving them covering fire in Rajouri and Poonch sector. Sir, give us the latest update on what's happening.
Well, sir, the operations are continuing. Today, at least three suspected militants were gunned down in the continuing operation in the Baramulla sector. And this revival of the events that we are seeing has come after a huge lull during the G20 summit, and after that it has started. So obviously there are questions as to why is it happening now. Has our security slackened and things like that. And of course, opposition is jumping with glee because they were seeing that the situation in Jammu and Kashmir and the way things were improving. Rather, in fact, they have improved a lot. We are going to talk about it. But the new strategy that has come in now that we can see is that these are now foreign militants. Earlier, we had a lot of local militants. There was a phase of foreign militants first. Then it was followed by recruitment of local militants. And there was a high number of local militants, and we saw new groups coming up involving local people. Now that there is a drop in the local militancy, in the sense local people joining militancy has dropped considerably, even in the number of encounters that have taken place and number of people killed. So I'm told in the last since August 21, there have been 48 militants who have been killed. Of them, only 7 are local. So obviously, you can see the impact of Article 370 in the state and the kind of security operations that have been continuing, that has seen that the locals increasingly seeing the high cost, rather disincentive, in pursuing this at the behest of their handlers across the border. But the new trend that we are noticing is something that our security forces, the army, has to look at it, which is we are seeing these militants are foreign militants who have come in. They are coming in. They are coming into the state through various routes. I am told some of them, of course, try to come through those difficult, rugged terrain. They somehow try to infiltrate with the Pak army, as you just mentioned, providing cover by trying to divert the attention of our forces by firing or rockets. And the other route, I am told, is they are also coming via Nepal. I mean, that is even more worrisome. That they somehow try to enter India, then they move on. They move to that spot, and the weapons are being brought in by drones, I am told. And there is an involvement of narcotics also, and these militants are also part of the narcotics business, as well as they themselves are highly drugged, in the sense motivated by narcotics as well as by the ideology, which is the religious ideology, fanatic ideology, which is what is happening. And the unfortunate death in the ambush that took place yesterday, that is on September 12th, we have seen, the senior officers have been killed, like Colonel Manpreet Singh, Major Ashish Donak, and there is the Deputy Superintendent of Police Humayun Butt, and so I think what is happening is their local informers are being infiltrated, because it is the local informers who informed this particular security unit that the militants are hiding in those Konkar Nag hills in the ranges, and that 2 Lashkar-e-Toba militants have come, and that is why this small unit went, comprising of these few officers, and it was led by particularly Colonel Manpreet Singh as well as Major Ashish Donak. These people have, they have won gallantry awards for their previous success in taking down militants. And when they reached there, and these militants were occupying heights, and they could easily ambush them. And that has seen, but there is a pattern we have seen in the last 1 month, because the data I have is, there was a similar incident on August 4th, where 3 soldiers were killed in, after militants lured them to this place by a similar tactics. Then we have seen, in Rajouri, even before the September 12th incident, there was another incident in which 3 soldiers were killed, and also an army dog was killed. So we are seeing a pattern. There seems to be a new strategy. The strategy is to infiltrate and, push in foreign militants. These militants, they move in and try to occupy some high places. Then they can easily target the security forces who are lured to come near them in search of them. So this is a new trend that we are noticing. But obviously there is a politics already over that. The Congress Working Committee, which met in Hyderabad today, the new Congress Working Committee, even passed a resolution. There were 13 points, and one is this point, trying to point out that the Modi government has failed on the Jammu Kashmir front. So, but the retired army generals who have been speaking to journalists throughout the day have said, look, to a great extent, we have extinguished insurgency and terrorism in Jammu Kashmir. But there are pockets of resistance, and there are new ways in which the Pakistan and its non-state players are sending in people, and we have to be vigilant. And this will also be overcome. But if you can see the kind of operations that are going on in South Kashmir, and you can see their armies deploying drones. The soldiers are carrying rocket launchers, and there's going to be the operations will continue till we are told in the army parlance, till they are all neutralized. Shekhar.
So, do we have an idea of how many people are still lurking about in the hills and other ranges, Shekharji?
I'm told the numbers are small, but these are highly trained militants who have been from the very fact that they're able to hold on without the food, and they are all far away from towns and villages, because previously the local militants would always hang around near the inhabited areas, so that they can get food, shelter, and all that. But these militants are in the hills, and rugged mountains, rugged terrain, and no contact with any civilizational benefits as such, and they are holding on, and the fact that they are highly trained, which makes our army wonder whether these are actually regulars who have come in the guise of militants, or who are they. But definitely, we are going to see operations, and the other thing is, which we are, we have to look at it, is Pakistan army getting ready for a kind of further push, having forgotten Balakot, or they would have to be reminded again, because this is, if this were to continue like this and there are going to be more incidents, then I think that the government would decide on a far more, I would say, action which may be uh, more disproportionate to the actual events that are now taking place, which means that could be a greater use of military power, and an attempt to again to locate hideouts across the border and snuff them out. So if that is the case, I think you can see a lot of political fallouts, and with elections going to take place in November, particularly the 4 states, Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Telangana, and Rajasthan. And so a lot of questions bound to be asked. And Parliament special session is beginning on Monday, September the 18th. So you can see that how the continuation of the operations, but the human side of it, when to see those families losing the dear ones in this operation, has really shaken the nation, Shekhar. And even as we speak, our soldiers are out in those difficult areas. Of course, we are using a lot of technology to locate those people. I'm told there are only a bunch of them, maybe because they are all spread out, maybe 2 here, 2 there, so that they avoid detection. But definitely, this is development that is worrisome for the authorities. And because this is a time when Jammu Kashmir is actually headed for a poll, and assembly elections are due. I mean, the authorities were thinking of calling elections before the snow sets in. Now, this revival of this use of foreign militants is obviously, you can see, one is to disturb the process of restoring statehood for Jammu Kashmir, and then to provoke military action. Because normally, when the tactics always is you create acts of terror, and which would invite backlash from the army, and in turn, if civilian populations are targeted, or there is a search in, coordinate search operations where there could be some casualties. Of course, army has also learned to over experience how to handle such situations over a long period. But we are seeing rather reminder of times that where the price for stability and security in that region is eternal vigilance. Shreyarji.
Shekharji, couple of things. You mentioned about new parliament building, and there is something the government is keeping close to its chest. It's keeping its cards very, very close to its chest. They have issued a whip to everybody to be present, and the session is only for 5 days. The first day is going to be in the old building. The second day, I think Vinayak Chaturthi day, is when the first new building will start. Now, let us say that one of the cards that the government is keeping close to its chest is some sort of a resolution in favor of the POK and Gilgit-Baltistan becoming part of India again. Let us just assume, we are not going to hazard a guess here. We are just going to educate it. We are going to put out some educated guesses. So to me, if something like that were on the cards, what I would expect is like a proclamation from both areas, the Gilgit-Baltistan area as well as the POK area, maybe a group of 150 people holding Indian flag, and say that we would like to be part of India. And then somebody comes up and says, look, we have chosen that these are the group of people who will be like a government in exile, trying to get this thing to this idea, and this is our timeline. We would like to become part of India in this time. You can't annex India. I mean, this is not going to be a military operation. Let's be very clear about it. I don't think India is going to annex them militarily, especially given that these two areas have been meted out stepmotherly treatment by Pakistan. So the people are quite angry. And if the people say, we don't want you, we want to be part of India, there's nothing the Pakistani government can do. Do you foresee something like that in the new parliament session, sir?
No, I don't see that kind of proclamation, because the parliament has already adopted a resolution way back in 90s when
That is
Narasimha.
correct. That is
There is
correct.
already a resolution, saying that we will work towards taking them back. There is a resolution which was passed, I think, 93 or so. So I think there is already a resolution. So therefore, there won't be any new resolution. But what we have heard is in terms of preparing for military tactics. uh, Normally, our army prepares for situations or where they may be asked to undertake a particular type of operation. So, I understand that some of these have been conceived as a kind of a military operational preparedness and things like that. But at the moment, I don't see that kind of action, because you also said that it will be very difficult at this moment, just after the conclusion of G20 summit, and we have ourselves, been part of the G20 declaration saying that war is not an option and things like that. I don't see it happening now. But as you said, the ground there has to be prepared. We are seeing how Pakistan is actually cracking up, whether it is Balochistan or these occupied areas, and the state of the economy. Sir, a big question today everyone is asking is, how is Pakistan affording this kind of misadventure in Kashmir? Do they have that kind of money to push in people? Do they have that money to still spend on these kind of things? Why can't we, suck them out from these things? How is it they are still doing it? And at a time when Pakistan is in a terrible mess, economic mess, and also in a political quagmire. I mean, now there is a talk of Nawaz Sharif's return. because some of the verdicts against have been overturned, and he'll come and contest elections. And his brother is willing to step aside for his return so that he can, take charge. Now, that being the case, I don't see anything like that, but there is a possibility that if this kind of thing continues, we may have to send a strong message to Pakistan. Look, far worse than things like Balakot could happen. I personally would not rule it out, not because elections are around the corner, because there is a deep anger at a time. There is a deep anger among people. There is a deep anger among the families of our security forces, because and with these foreign militants coming in, at a time we have stabilized the Jammu and Kashmir to a large extent. Things have come to normal. There is a huge inflow of tourists. Everybody is making money. The hoteliers, the houseboat people. The economy in Jammu and Kashmir is really picking up. And also, a lot of things have happened in the last few years there. At a time to bring in mercenaries, I would call them, foreign mercenaries, and already Lashkar-e-Taiba, because of international attention, and they are proscribed by international bodies. So there is a new name for this group called the Resistance Front, which has been operating there. And so I think we are going to see a military response, as well as, I think, a political response from the government. So because today's Congress Working Committee is quite harsh on the government's handling of Jammu and Kashmir in the resolution that they adopted in Hyderabad today. So that's the thing. Of course, all attention is on the special parliament session, which will start on September 18th. As per whatever we know already, as per the announced agenda, it will begin on September 18th in the old building first, where they will recall 75 years of parliamentary democracy, and one day would be spent on that, and along with that, probably there will be resolutions on the success of G20 summit under India's leadership. Then there will be, our scientists will be hailed for the successful landing of Chandrayaan-3, and then about the launch of the Aditya, and several other things that could come for special mention. But as the Congress has been saying, that they expect some legislative grenades to be thrown at them. That's a quote unquote legislative grenades. Jairam Ramesh mentioned it, and I said I don't know if it is connected, but high on the possibility is women's reservation bill, and already some parties are sensing it. The Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh, RSS, concluded a very key meeting in Pune today, and where the message that came out from the RSS conclave was a lot more needs to be done for women empowerment. Some people are taking it as a clue, probably with RSS talking about women's rights, women's issues. Is this a clue as to what is going to happen in the special session? So fingers are crossed. Of course, Congress seems to be, expecting anything to happen. So people are. There have been speculation for the last few days. People said it could be, removal of the name India. Only Bharat will be used. Then first, initially, people thought of one nation, one poll. Then a committee was formed. Of course, formation of the committee led to a feeling that, well, things won't happen so fast. Then there was a talk of UCC, but looks like it is going to be something that will change the dynamics of electoral politics. And only one thing that can change is, earmarking 33% of the seats in parliament and state assemblies for women, and to see that it can be implemented right away. So that is we do it with the Lok Sabha elections in 2024. If that is done, actually, if that is announced, or a constitution amendment bill is brought for this purpose, it's going to be a big change. Every party, including the BJP, will have to sit down and work out the dynamics of it. Of course, there are parties which are hugely disadvantaged. But one issue will definitely come up in Parliament, sir. That is the manner in which the DMK, has played havoc by, or rather, as they say, apne pair pe kuladi marna. You know, they have with that comments and remarks by Udayanidhi Stalin on Sanatan Dharma that has really provoked a furor. So much so, sir. In the last meeting of that this INDI Alliance, the dot alliance which met in Mumbai, which met in New Delhi the other day, and they came out with an announcement that they will start public rallies starting with Bhopal, the alliance meeting. But today we got it from Kamal Nath saying there won't be any rally in Bhopal. Bhopal rally is cancelled. He doesn't want any rally of these alliance partners there in Bhopal with the elections facing. Particularly, he doesn't want leaders like DMK coming there and again, their very presence could be very provocative and be a tool for the BJP. So you can already see the reactions happening. And of course, we have seen DMK leaders trying to tone it down, and even Udayanidhi himself saying, no, our statements are being misused. I mean, are becoming handy for the BJP. Let's not talk about it. Let's talk about women empowerment, because yesterday they have started giving out the 1,000 rupees for household women under that scheme. Yesterday was the birth anniversary of 𝗤𝙗𝙗𝘗, founder of the Dravida Munnetra Kazhagam. So we are seeing, and of course we are already getting stories, because unlike Jan Dhan Yojana, sir, where money is, all subsidies of the government are directly paid into the account, I am told the Tamil Nadu government did not choose the Jan Dhan Yojana. Rather, they have chosen the normal bank accounts. So, which means the banks would require you to keep a minimum balance, 500 or 1,000 rupees, depending on what facilities these people have opted. Which means of the 1,000 rupees, at least 500 rupees will be blocked, or maybe if the first 1,000 will be blocked. So already there are murmurs about it, that why did the DMK government, utilize Jan Dhan, because Jan Dhan Yojana is a zero account balance. You don't have to keep any minimum amount in your account. So these are some things we are seeing. But the golden opportunity that Congress had today, I mean, its working committee could have sent out a message over this furor and outrage caused by the DMK leaders' remark on Sanatan Dharma. The Congress working committee, it's a new working committee under 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏. 𝗏𝗏𝗏 has completed 1 year. They even complimented 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, but instead of that, they have completely ignored any remarks on the statements made by DMK leaders. This was a good opportunity for them to distance themselves and clearly state their position. But then they have chosen to ignore it, going by the belief that these are Sanatan Dharma controversy will not dominate elections in Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, or Telangana, and the ground situation is so ripe for us. So we need not bother about this controversy, no matter how the BJP is going to utilize it or BJP going to take advantage of it. Sree Iyer ji.
So this is a poster that has come up in Hyderabad where this CWC meeting was going on. Interestingly, 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 was seen saying that all three, that is Rahul Gandhi, Priyanka Gandhi, and Sonia Gandhi, attended the meeting. It makes a question, then who was running the meeting, Shekhar ji?
Sir, all the points that, I was looking at the Congress Working Committee resolution. There are 13 points. As I said, not a word on Sanatan Dharma issue, which I think is a grave miss. I mean, this was a good time to put an end to it once for all, but they didn't do it. Rather, there was more talk of caste census. Then there was a talk of course, P. Chidambaram was today fielded to clarify, in a sort in the presser, where he tried to say in Tamil Nadu it is about caste hierarchy and things like that. And but that was a quite wishy-washy, not a very straight, forthright condemnation of what the DMK leaders have been saying, whether it is A. Raja or whether it is Udayanidhi Stalin himself. And they missed it. And then there was all praise for 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏. Now Mallikarjun 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 is now their new. They want to elevate him to a state of an icon with the talk that, as we mentioned last hangout, that he could be contesting one constituency in the north and one constituency in Karnataka. I mean, there is a talk or an attempt or a balloon or whatever, how do we look at it? But then sudden importance, because Congress Working Committee on record today praised Kharge for his 1 year of handling as a president and contribution for the last 1 month. And sir, another interesting point, they said Congress Working Committee expressed immense satisfaction, happiness over Rahul getting back his Lok Sabha membership at the intervention of the Supreme Court.
I have 2 words for Mr. Mallikarjun Kharge because he speaks my language. 𝗖𝙧𝙤𝘀𝘁. Why do you want to contest from 2 different places? Anyway, it's hard enough to get elected from one. Is he going to campaign in both places, or is he going to think that his being the president of the Congress party is going to be able to be sufficient for him to win in the north? Nobody knows him there. In fact, this casteization of the Indian politics has taken such a deep root. The first thing they find out is what is the candidate's caste. So where are they going to field him in the north? I just don't see that happening. It's a futile exercise. So, I mean, this is my 2 cents, sir. I don't know, you agree with me or not?
No, Sree Iyer ji, if Kharge has to be fielded from north, it has to be Uttar Pradesh. For that, they have to approach Samajwadi Party, because some suggestions have been made. He can contest from Etawah. Etawah is the stronghold of Mulayam Singh. So a suggestion is being made. Why not we approach Samajwadi Party, and of course Priyanka may contest from Raebareli and Varanasi to get the eyeball attention, maximum eyeballs, because then she would be pitted against Prime Minister Modi. So all these talk going on. I mean, but then this parliament session, one is going to. I mean, Congress wants to appear that the Sanatan Dharm, episode did not happen. I mean, they are looking at it completely. But sir, the last few days there has been outcry from dharmacharyas, from our seers and our religious heads, and particularly Rambhadraji, who is highly revered. He's considered a saint by many people in the north. He has been giving television interviews expressing an outrage over these remarks over Sanatan Dharm. And he even went to the point to say in an interview, particularly with Republic TV to Arnab Goswami, saying that, look, this battle, the coming assembly elections is a battle, this is not about Sanatan Dharm, this is a battle between Dharm and Adharm. The assembly elections, I mean, you can see how religious leaders are feeling very, very upset. And Rambhadraji has a tremendous following. He said this is a battle which has happened before, the Dharm versus Adharm, and finally the Dharm wins. And he says BJP और कांग्रेस की लड़ाई नहीं है, ये धर्म और अधर्म की लड़ाई है. This is a fight between dharma and adharm, and ultimately dharma wins. So you can see, sir, the seers or all these religious heads, though they do not normally speak on politics or about elections, they also feel that, how dare people talk about Sanatan Dharma like this with their half-baked ideas, and then try to cover it up by saying we are talking about caste issues, we are talking about caste differences, we are talking about caste atrocities. This thing, I think, is not at all being accepted, and I think they are expecting the BJP, the government, to do a lot more, to act against these people under the law. So one can see this parliament could be overtaken by this thing, even though Congress is hoping, they can discuss all those issues that were already discussed in the no confidence motion. The Sonia's letter to the Prime Minister, which Prahlad Joshi, clearly responded saying, we already discussed, you have had a no confidence motion. And under the parliament business, sir, you don't discuss the same issue again. Like, you cannot bring this no confidence motion again for the next 6 months. So it doesn't mean every time you have a session, you can simply bring back the same issues, because that is the thing. And overtaking all this is, we have seen, sir, how this, one of the most stupidest decisions we have seen is to officially announce that this INDI Alliance, the Dot Alliance, would would boycott 14 anchors of television channels. I've never seen any political party, any political formation naming journalists in an official press release. And but already there is dissent to this, because this was supposed to have been approved at the meeting of the coordination committee of all the alliance partners. This proposal was mooted by the Congress. But already we are hearing, like Nitish Kumar has said, I do not know what is this, because his party was not present there. Already I am hearing Samajwadi leaders saying, look, Akhilesh doesn't support this kind of boycotting of anchors. And then I believe even Kamal Nath doesn't seem to be supporting this. But this is all considered some harebrained ideas of people who are considered to be very close to the Rahul Gandhi. And they are even mooting another thing, that 14 opposition CMs should impose economic boycott of these channels, which means their government will not give any advertisement to these channels, which is, the very formation which has been so worried about democracy in India, about press freedom in India, they are mooting such proposals that 14 CMs should agree that they won't give any ads. Of course, this whole issue has even divided the media fraternity. Those who see themselves, who hold views, very close to what they feel is, whose views, the journalists' views, who's akin to what the views held by the Congress and left others, they are even justifying it, saying that no, these anchors and channels have been very nasty with the Congress. So this is not a boycott. This is only you avoid going there. But sir, much more to it. If you are talking of imposing economic kind of sanctions on channels, this is, and for a party which is, I've been saying that it is Prime Minister Modi avoids journalists, Prime Minister Modi has been harsh on press and things like that. So we are seeing a very bizarre situation. And many people in the Congress, sir, they are also very upset that what has come to our party, that we are thinking of these things. Who are the people who are muting these things? I am told that many people are not in agreement, but then this idea has captivated the powers that be, who they are in the Congress, and they think this is the way you can, browbeat the anchors as well as the channels, because some channel owners are worried, because the talk of economic sanction is also bothering them, whether the ads would stop coming or. But then some of these anchors command a lot of traction on the channel. They conduct debates. Basically, what the Congress party wants to say, look, don't question us on all these things. Don't question us on the Sanatan Dharma. So, this is a bizarre. I was just wondering, suppose the NDA meeting had come out with such a list. By now, they would have got a White House to issue a statement.
So true. So this is the mockery of the system. In fact, I'm deeply disappointed that my name, your name, Rajagopalanji's name, Sriram Seshadri's name, or Sumit Pier's name is not appearing in this list. But that is life, I guess. I was also deeply disappointed that none of us figured on the Pegasus list either. So
but how can they impose economic sanction on you?
We need to work harder, sir. We need to work harder. We need to get on their radar. They don't see us serious enough. Anyway, sir, the important thing there is that somebody is trying to adopt a scorched earth policy, and this will spectacularly blow up on their faces. Congress knew how to win elections. In fact, if you listen to P.V. Narasimha Rao's speeches when he was the Prime Minister around those things, he had a very stable take on whenever he used to talk in meetings. He would say the elections are decided by whether the people are happy with Congress or upset with Congress. If this question is answered, then you know the result. That used to be his take, and it made sense because at that time BJP was still evolving. Now I'll flip it, and today in 2024, the same question is going to be asked, except instead of Congress, you put BJP. Are the people happy with BJP's performance in the last 5 years? Yes or no? And that is probably going to be the decisive factor. And in my opinion, Modi has done a lot of good for the people of India. He has tried very hard. He has tried to make life easy. He has made many attempts to try and understand the common man's problem. So this is, I mean, I'm also critical of a lot of things. India could have been even better, because right now, in my opinion, out of 197 or 198 countries, close to 190 countries are actually on their knees. The COVID has hit them that hard. Some of the few shining spots, one of them happens to be India. But if India had done some economic policy readjustments early on in the BJP regime, today you would be able to dictate, terms to many of the countries. Whereas India is still looking over its shoulders. Should I commit money here? Should I, for outside things? See, when you are going up against BRI, right? They spend a lot of money. India has to do the same thing, or Bharat has to do the same thing. So this new corridor is going to be defined as much by what India is willing to spend also. India is a leader in that, of the 4 countries. So it's going to be interesting how this is going to play out. Shekhar-ji, I think at this point of time, if you want to add something before we take questions, please feel free to do so. Then we can go to questions.
Yeah, I entirely agree with you, because it's about messaging and what the people feel. I think this time, Congress has completely confused itself into believing that medium is the message.
Yes.
Whereas in this case, medium is not the message. I mean, you have your problem, sir. Other day you had 𝗤𝙑𝗫𝙐𝘂𝘍, who is one of the general secretaries, Randeep Singh 𝗤𝙑𝗫𝙐𝘍, saying that people who vote for the BJP are Rakshas. I mean, they have a problem with the voter. I mean, how do you describe the voters who are making a choice, saying that they are demons and they are the ones who are a threat to the democracy? I mean, for you, a voter is a voter. He can be a BJP voter today, he can be a Congress voter tomorrow. But then this is the kind of mindset that we are seeing in the Congress today, sir. And that mindset, I think, revolves around the kind of views that are exposed by Rahul Gandhi himself. Because the Rahul Gandhi, his sister Priyanka Gandhi, are they supporting this kind of people? And are they surrounding themselves with people who are looking at politics, electoral politics this way? And the justification that is being provided by some of our own media friends who are anti-Modi and who are totally with the Congress and the left, that is also amazing, sir. I mean, some of them are very serious journalists. I see their WhatsApp post and I see that, I mean, even they seem to lose balance in this whole thing, as if, if these 14 anchors were, disciplined into giving you comfortable coverage. But we have seen, sir, in the years that Modi came to the center stage, say from 2002 onwards till 2012, 2013, he didn't come because of media coverage, though he knew how to deal with media. So therefore, I think it's a time that these parties, realize, and I'm surprised how the other alliance partners agree to this. Of course, now they are one by one distancing, saying, look, this is not the right approach. Shree Iyer ji.
Thank you, sir. And I think we have a picture here to show for our viewers.
1 रैंक 1 पेंशन में ऑफिसर्स को ज़्यादा फ़ायदा मिला और जो हमारे जवान हैं उनको कम फ़ायदा मिला, मगर शायद OROP ज़्यादा जवान को चाहिए होता है, मतलब उसके लिए ज़्यादा ज़रूरी है कि ऑफिसर के लिए, और एंड में लड़ता तो जवान है, ऑफिसर लड़ता है मगर जवान मतलब हज़ारों में जाके लड़ता है.
So it shows a total lack of understanding of how India actually deploys its forces on the ground. And I mean, sometimes, if you don't open your mouth, you could be mistaken for being a Pandit. And I think Rahul...
even the latest incident, which has happened in Kashmir, you have an officer of the rank of Colonel.
Yes.
Falling prey to the militants' ambush. I mean, that means senior officers are leading operations.
Very true, sir. And now let's go to some questions, please. Thank you, Hariom Singh, for becoming a YouTube member. Rahul Rathod wants to know, India has 74 billion military budget, but it's still not causing panic in Pakistan. We should hit them hard even though they have nukes. It is useless. They can't use it. Pak should fear our military might. Your thoughts?
Well, sir, I think somehow the mindset of the Pakistan military, despite such a mess they are dependent on World Bank bailout, they're dependent on IMF bailout. And still, if they are going to resort to this is going to hurt them much more. Because we are already seeing how the very basis for the existence of Pakistan has come into question with the kind of the economic mess that Pakistan finds itself in. And the way, the Balochistan, people of Balochistan have been suppressed by brutal military force, and also in other areas. And we are seeing a situation where I do not know how long it will continue. But if Pakistan feels that in this situation, if they can revive terrorism in a big way in Kashmir, I think they are in for very nasty shock, because the far worse things could happen than Boycott. That much is certain, because that's what I get to feel, that the response is going to be massive. I mean, there can be no doubt about it.
Rahul, Asim Munir has been doing the rounds of various capitals, and it is believed that he is saying that Pakistan is producing between 14 to 28 nuclear warheads every year. They also trot out a list showing that we have 170 warheads today, and they even give names. I have done this thing as a special episode. You can watch that. I don't remember which hangout I did it. I believe it was Sumit Peer that I had done that. And basically, they are just constructing this narrative that we have the warheads, we have the missiles like the Shaheen and the Ghori and whatever, that we can take it and we can strike anywhere we want. So they are building up a story. Now, why? Yeah, sorry, go ahead, sir. I'll finish my
Shekhar
talk.
ji, I don't think that Americans would have left them like that to play with nukes. Or if not Americans, Israel would not have left them like that. I think some big thing must be missing in their component, though they are allowed to do this talk and nobody is denying them. Because neither Israel nor Americans would have allowed Pakistan to. And of course, the lot of it is with the help of China and North Korea. But then, given the kind of economic begging bowl that they are holding in their hand, I mean, any such misadventure would be the destruction of Pakistan first. Rather, it will hasten destruction of Pakistan, I must say. So, my common sense tells me that I don't think the Pakistan has got everything right. Some nuts and bolts must be missing in their nuclear arsenal.
Well, it's possible, sir, but they are talking up a good talk, and it's up to the people in power who are deciding whether to give money to Pakistan or not. For example, there's been a lot of talk about Kingdom of Saudi Arabia investing 25 billion in Pakistan, but KSA has not said a word. MBS was supposed to visit Pakistan. He did not. He came for G20 and then he went back. So clearly they are just giving them the silent treatment. And Erdogan got nothing in the G20 summit, although other countries with India have got a few things to go back and talk. So the problem is here, and this guy has gone to meet Erdogan also. Looks like they are thinking of bringing in the Sadat to POK to try and defend POK. I don't see something like that as being sufficient. India, I mean, it will only expose the Sadat also in Pakistan occupied Kashmir, when they'll say, okay, it didn't matter, they got driven on. First of all, there is no crying need for India. There's no pressing need for India today to go and get back POK and GB. If you ask me frankly, China is in big trouble. Right now, their PLA Daily, which is the army's newsletter, that has said that the Rocket Force Division is not ready today. And they are giving a very... Go ahead, sir.
That defense minister has gone missing.
That is the other thing. Yes, that's the other thing.
Yeah. I think there is a huge upheaval in the Chinese top communist leadership, and it will have its repercussions in the Central Military Commission also. So you can see there is a lot of things happening in China, and China is also passing through an economic crisis of sorts.
So next week, viewers, I'm going to have a hangout with General Rajiv on all the developments that have been happening, very, very fast developments. For example, there is talk that while the G20 was meeting in Delhi, Xi Jinping, Putin, and Kim Jong-un, all three met somewhere along the border of China and Russia, very close to the city of Vladivostok. And that a meeting did take place because all three were within 100 kilometers of each other. So this is, again, people were thinking that while the attention of the world was on G20, these people were meeting. As to what they met and talked about and what was decided, no one knows. But clearly, Russia is, short of weapons. The talk is that they are asking North Korea, give us back the weapons we gave you a few years ago. So it is to come to that level, because weapons cannot be manufactured like that. It takes a lot of effort, and they also lack some serious high-end electronics in some of their missiles. So it's not easy for Russia to keep this war going, which is what they want to do, because they think at one point or the other, the American voter will give up and say, I don't want war anymore, and pull the plug in the funding that is going on to Ukraine right now. Anyway, these are all things that are being pondered. So do tune in next week for my conversation with General Rajiv. Next question, please. Pawan Kishore wants to know, Namaskaram sir, how do you foresee INDI Alliance's future? Will more parties like TDP join the alliance? What might be the reason for their rally postponement in Madhya Pradesh?
Well, the Bhopal rally is I think the message is very clear. Kamal Nath, who is the chief of operations for chief of Congress operations in Madhya Pradesh, does not want a rally of alliance leaders there. Particularly, he doesn't want the Congress to be seen in the company of DMK in Madhya Pradesh, because that would add further ammunition to the BJP. And he was the first to condemn the statement by Udayanithi, saying that, look, we don't support this statement. So you can see why Kamal Nath has felt the way he did. And as far as the alliance future, sir, the whole idea, that process of seat sharing would start. Nothing is moving forward. And Mamata Banerjee is very clear that unless Congress completely breaks ties with the left party in West Bengal, she is not going to concede any seat. I mean, that is very, very clear. And so we are not seeing any movement in seat talks also. So basically, what we are seeing is some optics is being attempted, but when it comes to nitty-gritty, one can see nothing happening, because today at the working committee, Sonia Gandhi again called for a unity of opposition parties. I thought this is the whole, because they wanted to come together, only whole process started. But today she has given a call for unity. That means when you give a call to become united, that means you are not united today. So that's an admission by itself.
This is like your observation. Don't believe anything until it is officially denied.
True, very true.
Next one, please. Hemant Karna wants to know, should Namo come up with a game-changing guarantee scheme for lower middle class to counter INC's pan-India guarantee schemes for 2024 polls?
Yeah, something may be necessary, sir, definitely, because this guarantees thing, with the Congress having smelled victory, having got victory in Himachal Pradesh and Karnataka, and with all state governments, particularly the opposition-ruled states, rolling out some scheme or the other, doling out money and things like that. There are certain ways in which the Modi government at the central level could focus and maybe come up with some kind of schemes. But then the problem is, Prime Minister himself is very aware that for winning elections, one must not do things which are not sustainable, which are not fiscally prudent course, just because you have to win elections. Of course, if anything that can really help the people, which can really give them a big boost, then it should be done. So, but I'm sure the BJP strategists are at work, because they need to look a third term for Prime Minister Modi a lot more attractive for those voters who may be lured by this promise of freebies by the Congress and its allies.
Sir, I would suggest something which is out of the box, but this will really yield dividends. Every parent worries for the future of his or her child. This is something that is at the conscious back of the mind. Everybody is always concerned, how will my child, face up to all these kinds of things? The best thing that India can do is, first of all, take education out of concurrent list and put it in central list. This is a constitutional amendment, number one. And promise that everybody up until undergraduate, you're going to get free education. Not private colleges, but there will be good public colleges, public schools that will take care of making sure that a baseline is guaranteed. Shekharji, the baseline itself is in question today. My point in saying that is that when somebody says, "Maine 10वीं कक्षा pass की है," you have to ask which state, which district, which school. All these questions come to your mind. That baseline has to be set right. If they can think in this direction, that would be very good, because this NEET as a joke. The Tamil Nadu government saying that we will not have NEET is a joke. These guys are jokers. They shouldn't be even given the time of the day. And why are they saying all these things? Just because they have education under the concurrent list. Take it away. They've abused it, sir. I'm telling you, the vice chancellor's position, you have to bribe 30 to 100 crores to get the job. Why should the VC be paying 30 crores to get a job? That means he must be making 10 times that money. Where does the VC make the money? He is making money by giving fake degrees. In Tamil Nadu, there is a rate chart, sir. 2 years, you will get a master's, you have to pay 30 lakhs. You want a PhD, you have to pay 70 lakhs, and it will take you 2 years. It's a rate chart. Somebody will write the thesis for you. Nobody checks, nobody cares. But on paper, it will look like you did a proper research and that you got a degree. This is the joke that is doing the rounds. So if you can imagine, if the vice chancellor is okay with it, then everything has become a joke. Many degrees don't mean anything. Especially the lawyers that are practicing in the courts of Tamil Nadu, many don't even know 2 words of law. For example, if you are going to argue, your son is a lawyer, he'll agree with me. You need to understand and you need to be able to explain yourself properly in English. English is the language of the court. Supreme Court demands it. And it just gets driven down. And these people can't even speak proper English. They never properly learnt anything, Shekharji. So that means the whole court is becoming a joke.
Sir, forget English, even Tamil.
So Tamil they are illiterate. They bought a degree, that's it.
At least high court level, you have to practice in English. At least in the lower courts, where the local language is allowed, even there things are in a very bad state. Of course,
very bad shape.
And sir, 2 points I wanted to make was, one, already the new education policy, which wanted to look at various aspects, and that is being registered by the opposition ruled states. They are saying we don't want. So even for center to consider taking out the education, it will be met with so much of political resistance. It will snowball into a very big political crisis of sorts, I would say. And the other thing is, on the legal side, the Supreme Court has been emphasizing that, okay, we will get our judgments translated into other languages. That's an ongoing project. And then digitization, which is where, to do less of paperwork and more, the use of digital way of, filing petitions, receiving orders and things like that. So that's the other thing that is happening. But the fact remains is the quality, one is the quantity of education we have seen, but the quality of education is something that has been worrying the educationists, that's been worrying planners, but we don't seem to be focusing enough on this aspect. Shekhar-ji.
Next question, please. Destiny's Child wants to know, INC is cleverly mobilizing Muslim votes en masse in states where even regional parties are strong, saying that they are B team of BJP. Will this be BJP's biggest challenge for 2024?
So the fact that BJP has been working on, on the particularly those, particularly women voters belonging to the Muslim community, who they In 2019 elections, we saw after the abolition of triple talaq, in many places, the BJP's own assessment is they did get Muslim votes, particularly of the women voters. Now, similarly, they have been working on Pasmanda Muslims, that is the backward caste Muslims who have felt left out, and BJP has been working to woo them. Of course, there are some who believe whether it is Pasmanda or non-Pasmanda, it's a very futile exercise for BJP. But then BJP would not give up. I mean, they would continue to work to win newer sections. But for the Congress, in fact, it has proven that in Karnataka their victory was largely because that 12 to 15% of Muslim vote, that solid chunk came to them, and depriving even Janata Dal secular of their traditional votes. And we know what happened to Janata Dal secular in these elections in Karnataka. Similarly, we have to see what is going to happen in Telangana, how the Muslim voters are going to respond to the Congress efforts, because KCR has been taking the help of OVC party, Majlis, in particularly Hyderabad and other areas. But Congress is also working on that aspect, and which could KCR's worry is that that the Muslim voters do not look at Congress as an alternative in a big way.
Shekharji, the minorities in India, they are also seeing what is happening around them, sir. Look at what is the state of a minority in Pakistan. The newspaper advertisements tell you for scavenger jobs, that's the only thing that the Christians are deemed as being used suitable. Can you believe this? Why aren't the Christians, minorities in India outraged by this? Aren't we human beings? And you saw how many churches got destroyed in the last few weeks. Why isn't one bishop raising concerns? Isn't it your kin and kith? What kind of a respect do you have for your own people? I mean, and Muslims, my God, they must be thanking their forefathers for not leaving India and going to Pakistan. Even today, the refugee is still called a refugee, muhajir.
True.
That is the worst kind of fate that you can have. They don't know how to govern themselves. If you are seeing Bangladesh doing better than Pakistan, it is mostly because Sheikh Hasina has decided that it is good to work with the BJP, which has been helping her. It's a black and white fact, and I'm hoping and praying that she'll come back again, because then the average life of the Bangladeshi is going to become even better. So these are all things that I think they are also watching, sir. They are not just completely under a rock or something like that. I'm just saying this.
Definitely, sir.
Yeah.
I mean that kind of though there were times when Muslim vote was always seemed to go in a tactical way, that is to ensure defeat of BJP. But they have seen in the last 9 years of Modi government, they have seen that in terms of welfare schemes, I haven't heard of discrimination per se, that we did not get some of the flagship programs because we are Muslims. That kind of complaint has not come, where they were deprived of any particular thing. But then it's a challenge, and the whole idea is entire alliance has been looking at it that way only, how to keep that's why today the battle between Mamta and Congress at the left is a lot about the minority votes rather than the other general votes.
Very good, sir. We are getting more discussions going during the Q&A session also today. Pawan Kishore wants to know, Namaskaram, sir. How do you foresee INDI Alliance future? Will more party... No, we already answered this question. Next one, please. Next one, please. Srinivas Jayaprakash wants to know, how do you think JSP's alignment with TDP would affect BJP? Will BJP be forced to join JSP and TDP, or will it go alone? Your take, please.
Well, Pawan Kalyan has been pressing on the BJP to come out more in support of Chandrababu Naidu and to announce, support for Pawan Kalyan, Chandrababu Naidu tie-up, and the BJP should join. Now, after the action taken on Chandrababu Naidu, we have seen the local BJP units were directed to to condemn his arrest and give support. Even Purandareshwari visited. She is the Andhra Pradesh BJP president. She even visited Chandrababu, I believe, and to try to convey the message. But at the national level, I believe, I don't think the leadership, the central BJP leadership, is ready to right now come out with an announcement saying that they are backing this combine. Well, what is clear is Pawan Kalyan and Chandrababu will be together, because Pawan Kalyan says that but larger issues are involved in today's Andhra Pradesh politics. But for BJP, I think they are going to bide time, and not until the next, not until the Lok Sabha elections are announced, you can see some clarity in the BJP's approach as to who are going to be their partners in Andhra Pradesh.
Sir, if you ask me, along caste lines is how this grouping is happening, sir. JSP is Kapus, TDP is Kamas, and Congress is Reddys. However, not all Reddys are Christians. There are a sizable number they are not. So there is that vote floating. Then you have the other OBCs and scheduled castes and scheduled tribes. Those are still open. So BJP has a fair amount of things to work with. And Purandareshwari herself, being a Kama, might also eat into the Kama image of TDP. So a lot of dynamics in play, but I have not really seen Purandeshwari, like, for example, would she take a Padayatra like the way Annamalai is able to do? Sir, I have been watching this every day. Every community is coming to meet with him, sir. Christians are coming and walking along with him. Muslims are coming and walking along with him. They are presenting shawl. They are presenting bouquets. This is not a particular religion movement. This is a pan-Tamil movement. It is making waves. Whether it will translate into votes, we have to wait till 2024. But the fact is that somebody is coming in scorching sun to come and meet him is in itself a big deal, sir. Nobody is getting paid. I've checked and double checked and triple checked.
That is why this Sanatan Dharm business was started by DMK.
Yes,
That's one of the reasons. One of the reasons.
Next question, please. Sir, you have some time, sir. We have crossed 1 hour now. We have about 5 or 6 questions left.
We will answer them.
Yeah. So Anshuman Singh wants to know, what is the news coming in yesterday? BJP demanded 20 seats in Tamil Nadu from AIADMK. Is that true? And is there no chance they go alone?
No, well, 𝗣𝗽𝗼𝗫 𝗫𝙀𝘆 was in Delhi this Thursday, and he held discussions with central BJP leaders, including Amit Shah. So some figures are being discussed, but I do not know whether it is 20 seats. There is a demand like 20 seats. I don't think they would have fixed at a number. Rather, they would like to ensure that the AIADMK and BJP work together. That is more necessary. And so far, the lukewarm approach of AIADMK to the issues raised by BJP, I think they want AIADMK to be more vociferous and take advantage of Annamalai's Padayatra. That's much more important, rather than look at it as some kind of threat to their own existence or to their own influence. I think that's more important. So, but 𝗣𝗽𝗼𝗫 seems very happy with his discussions here in Delhi with the central BJP leaders. So, I think you will see some changes as to how BJP and AIADMK, coordinate their strategy for the Lok Sabha elections.
Next question, please. Ashok Java wants to know, can we not use the American MQ drones to eliminate the terrorists?
Well, already drones are being used in this operation. So one will have to wait and see what is the
impact. It depends upon the terrain, Ashok. It depends upon the terrain. See, drones have to be controlled from the ground. And if there's no line of sight, or if there is some other boulders or something coming along the way, it becomes difficult to control them. Then you have to have targeting drones. But then if the targeting drones, the target itself moves, then what will the drone do? So there are some
right now
challenges.
The drones are being used to locate their movement. I mean, that's what is happening right now.
Next question. Yeah. Sachin Thakur wants to know, today's issue is that people don't read. The TN issue can evaporate if people read and know that it was the British designed to divide TN as it was intellectual and spiritual capital of South.
Well, I think, of course, definitely the reading, the habit of reading has suffered a lot, more so in Tamil Nadu. I mean, I do agree with Sachin ji. But then, the attempt to rather the attempt by the DMK to fall back on old formulas, the old methods and models that worked for DMK in the initial years would work again now by trying to trying to again talk about anti-Brahminism and things like that. I don't think that's going to be very effective in Tamil Nadu today, because Tamil Nadu today is facing other issues and other problems. And then Stalin has been seeing a lot of anti-income issues affecting his ministers, affecting his MLAs. So, and corruption is a very big issue in Tamil Nadu, sir. And I think that's a very big issue. And the Annamalai's campaign, the kind of responses it is getting, because people are believing in what Annamalai has been saying about the Stalin government, particularly the scale of scams and the scale of sleaze involving top people. So one can see that Annamalai's clarion call against the DMK on this very corruption issue is what has worked up the Stalin and his family and other top ministers.
Sir, do you have a vehicle, sir? Do you use a car or a two-wheeler?
Yes, I do.
So you have a roadworthiness certificate that has to be issued for the car or the vehicle. How much do you pay, sir, normally?
Sir, in Delhi, we had to retire all the cars which are 15 years old. So, but in other places, I think, I do not know the exact rate, but then they have to be recertified if they are more than 15 years.
Yeah, so the going rate, I'm told, is 1,500 rupees. And you know how much they are charging in Tamil Nadu? 7,000.
My goodness.
And they don't even look at the car. They don't even look at your vehicle. You just pay the money, you get it, and you keep going. No questions, nowhere to redress any kind of concerns. So there are some who don't even use the car for 20 kilometers in a week, which is like nothing. For them also, you have to go and subject themselves to this. This is just madness. The corruption is absolutely right, sir. They have gone way beyond any norms.
Sir, even tipplers are not spared, sir. For a sachet they buy, they have to pay extra.
Yes. Serves them right. Rahul Rathod wants to know. I'm just making a joke. Don't take it seriously, guys. Rahul Rathod wants to know, sir, your views on Indira Gandhi. Was she nationalist or was she similar like Nehru, involved in appeasement politics?
No, sir. By the time Indira, when she returned to power again in 1980, I think she had then realized that the dangers, of course, for that brief emergency period, the Indira Gandhi, before emergency, Indira Gandhi during emergency, and Indira Gandhi post-emergency, and Indira Gandhi after 1980. Rather, there are many people who assess her as one of the first Hindutva-minded leaders who understood the problems faced by this country within and outside. This is many people feel. And in fact, the assessment by even the BJP today has to, the leadership of Indira Gandhi has undergone a lot of change, considering the fact that she realized that there were forces inimical to this country, which needed to be tackled. And her response in the case of Sikh militancy also was largely influenced by the fact that how the encouragement and help from across the border fueled the efforts to increase alienation and to create a divide between Sikh community and Hindu community. So one can say that Indira Gandhi was definitely a nationalist, and Indira Gandhi understood, though belatedly, of some of the problems that affected integrity of this country.
Next question, please. 𝗒𝙗𝘅 Shukla wants to know, services should not be politicized. Is it not treason?
Well, if politicized in the sense, I do not know what 𝗒𝙗𝘅 has in mind.
I think he's talking about the Rahul Gandhi comment. We showed the video, sir. Let's put it in that context.
Well. That is absolutely. I don't want to say treason or anything like that, but absolutely No. When it comes to, when we are talking of electoral issues, when you're like, keep the army out, keep the soldiers out, keep the security out. I mean, when there is some attack or something, and why does the opposition, it tries to hide its glee? I mean, what is so about it? And then frequent questions raised about that Pulwama episode, whether it is true. And even Balakot, they continue to raise issues saying that, Balakot happened, whether it, even now, now and then one or the other opposition raises questions.
Next question, please. Abhineet Singh wants to know, Mr. Shekhar speaks amazingly Hindi. Heard him on Lalan Top. Request Mr. Sree to request him to also give some time on PGurus Hindi. In fact, we are working on that. Shekhar ji and I are working on some schedules. You will be having Shekhar ji on Hindi also. Stay tuned very, very soon. Next one, please. 𝗣𝗚𝗂𝗍𝙬 I don't know what that means. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Got it. Why there is so much delay with conclusion of National Herald and all the ED cases? That is like Swapna, Suresh in Kerala, etc.
Well, the cases are proceeding. I think there is a timing to everything.
Yeah. That brings us to a close of today's program. Thank you, viewers, for your great support. I would have liked to see more likes on this video. But as we always say, please keep this in the back of your mind. Shekhar ji is full of gyan, information. We don't color anything. We are seeing if the INDI Alliance thinks of something good, we'll be the first ones to praise them also. We are, of course, still waiting. Thank you, Shekhar ji. And we'll be again seeing you on Wednesday. And we are also going to be having Shekhar ji soon on Hindi channels also. Namaskar.
Namaskar. Thank you.